Title 17 U.S. Code 512F provides penalties for the deliberate misrepresentation of copyright infringement. The owners and authors of this video, the common denominator, and the Paramystic Broadcast Channel are a nonprofit 501c3 exempt organization and believes in good faith that it constitutes educational fair use, as per Title 17 U.S.C. 107. Persons, agencies, attorneys, and or social media algorithms filing a false or frivolous Digital Millennium Copyright Act complaint may be subject to civil liability. Warning: the following content may contain elements that are not suitable for some audiences. Accordingly, viewer discretion is advised.
Happy Hump Day, everyone. Yes, it's Wednesday, the 4th of September. We're already into the fall. But as always, I like to start my Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge my allegiance to the Constitution of the United States of America and to the republic for which the flag stands, one nation under Almighty God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I didn't get to share this show out today at all to anyone. That's it. Oh, wow, that's just staying. Here we go. I don't know what's happening here. Anyway, I didn't share the show out. It's one of my, what I feel to be really a pretty good show in the long run, because much like me not sharing the show out is much like Kamala Harris. And the show is all about her and Tim Walz. But first, as always, it does not take a majority to prevail, but rather an irate, tireless minority keen on setting brush fires of freedom in the minds of men. Samuel Adams. Again, it does not take a majority to prevail, but rather an irate, tireless minority keen on setting brush fires of freedom in the minds of men. The whole thing that we're going through right now, and we are in a political fire. There's no doubt about that. I mean, there's no two ways of saying it's anything other than we are really fighting for our democracy. I'm going to be telling more. I'm going to get a little serious, have a little fun with this, but I'm going to be really getting into some good details, into the end of the program. And why? Because we have to look at where it all started. And I'm going to tell you, it started right here, believe it or not. It started with fake news. This is fake news all the way. If you have been watching these channels, believe it or not, if you have been watching these channels, it only takes 2 to 3 months of saturation before you actually take that blue pill. So we have to look at what's been going on. We really do. So these are the ways of how to kill democracy. And believe it or not, they really are. Controlling key elements of the economy. Right now, believe it or not, when Harris signed the Inflation Reduction Act, she was a 51st person to pass that act. And that's why we're here where we are today. We're in a horrible economy. They've rewritten the history of our country many times. They plow through the checks and balances. They just sign things left and right, and they're just spending. They're defining basically repressive acts as democratic, and they're holding us back. They're holding us back, and they're maintaining control of the electoral process. Let's face it, when we know we've got dead people. I have a friend of mine up in Minnesota, and believe it or not, he received 7 ballots in 2020. And they create this illusion of competitive elections. There's no competition here. Trump and Kamala, there is zero competition. I'm going to show you why shortly. But they're creating a massive administrative state. I mean, this is just a big, big government. And then we go on and they're restricting our free speech. And I'm going to get on that on a segment and I'm going to tell it to you straight up. Just wait. They're rewriting our language. They're imposing beliefs and thought processes. They're rewriting the language of the people. They're imposing, in other words, politically correct crap, pronouns. They're imposing new belief systems. We no longer have God, so they're just throwing stuff out there like the LGBTQ. They're brainwashing through thought control, re-engineering society and the individuals in doing so. And they keep bloating the government and spending so much more. In fact, this is how you do it. This is how you kill a democracy. And by the way, you're going to love my ending to this. They're hiring more bureaucrats or ruling by regulations. So many regulations, people can't. I had a friend of mine in Alaska mining, and the EPA came in and shut down his mining. They're ruling by executive order, i.e., example, parents are, quote, terrorists watch list of the FBI. They are on the terrorist watch list. They're ordering more audits so they can just know every little squeaky penny the taxpayer has. And I'm going to tell you something about these audits. It's only going to get worse, because if you go to win big money, you're going to have to pay. You're going to have to look at every single penny, and they're going to do everything they can to account you for it through taxes. And they're ordering more investigations. They're enforcing more penalties, levies with more fines, imposing price controls. They're not doing this, by the way, on themselves. They're doing this on the American people. There is no stopping them. And so they're imposing wage controls, creating government and running the healthcare. And in fact, I'm letting it out ahead of time, but Kamala Harris wants to get rid of privatized healthcare and wants everyone on the same market. Right now, as an American, if you go into a Democratic City hospital, I can guarantee you one thing. You will not be seen before at least dozens of illegal criminals who have invaded our country. They're nationalizing the drug companies so that basically the pharmaceutical companies can't be held accountable for instance, vaccines that are not working. The COVID vaccine was horrible. And Jennifer Hamburg Bridges was on several years ago with me. You can go check out that page, even on Facebook. But she led 350 employees out of the United Methodist Hospital down in Houston, Texas, because these people said they were not going to be forced to take, quote, to take the COVID shots. And so they all lost their jobs and they were terminated. But these healthcare workers saw what the COVID shots were doing to people from the ages of 50 down, and seeing young men in their teens and in their 20s with now heart conditions. They were seeing women with their menstrual cycles being altered by weeks. They were seeing a lot of thickening and hardening and clotting of the veins, once they, of course, have the body to recover. But they want to impose a health tax. They want to increase our taxes, and they want to increase corporate taxes. They've already controlled our education, and they're attempting to control our child upbringing. I'm going to tell you, folks, the reason why I say these last are like the most important to me, especially when we get to the last one about the children. The schools right now are taking away the private rights of parents and the children. They are controlling their minds. You know what, really, I for a whole year now, 2 years maybe, closer to 2 years, I've been really attacking the teachers of the Cameron School District, of which I'm 20 miles away from, I'm not part of. But I've been attacking them because of 4 or 5 bad apples. They've already brought themselves to light. They have said that they want DEI, CRT, gender crap, and now they're talking pronouns. Kidding you not, they're talking about teachers having to call a child that they know is a boy a girl's name. It's stupid, it's wrong, it's ignorant, and you're only promoting more ill mental health. And talk about more ill mental health. Today there was a shooting down in Georgia. Again, this kid went in there and killed a whole bunch of students. Don't know much about it. 4 students are dead, several are injured. And you know, the sad part about it is they're going to blame the gun. And it's not the gun's fault, it's the kid's fault. And I'm going to tell you, as a parent, every one of you should be looking at your kid saying, is my kid a possible Thomas Matthew Crooks? Is my kid like this kid? Is my kid like all the other kids? Are they capable of? So you've got kids that have mental problems that want to kill people, and you've got kids that don't know what sex they are, and they need to see a psychiatrist, get medicated, and get to figuring these things out. But going back to the root of our problems with here, of our republic, by the way, this isn't a democracy. We are a republic. The United States of America is a republic. Okay? It's not a democracy. And we already know from history, because history repeats itself, that democracies always end up in tyranny. You look at the Roman Empire, you look at the Greek Empire, you look ultimately at and I'm going to say it like this, the tyranny of the monarchy, they call it, but it's the tyranny of England. You know, you get a king, a leader, and that person says everything. And you know what? Well, that's actually a figurehead in England. I don't like the Brits. I got nothing against them personally. I just don't like their form of government, parliaments and stuff like that. It's supposed to be kind of like us, but not. And believe me, it's not. They want to suppress, again, freedom of speech. I actually was looking at on Facebook, I was actually banned for about not even 24 hours, I guess. But they were looking at completely taking down my site if I didn't upload an ID. And so I gave them my picture of my toilet. You guys have seen it before. It's horrible. But not my toilet, by the way, a picture of a toilet. And you know, it's sad because that's where we've come. I'm not going to give my picture anymore. BS on that. But within 24 hours and not and the threat of permanently getting rid of my 12-year account, personal account, they suddenly put me back on for some reason. I don't have a clue as to why. But this would be possibly one of the biggest reasons why. We have people like this man who's so in charge of. And he actually, with the Biden White House, pressured Meta over the COVID posts. Get this. In 2021, senior officials from the Biden administration, including the White House, repeatedly pressured our teams for months to censor certain COVID-19 content, including humor and satire, and expressed a lot of frustration with our teams when we didn't agree. Believe the governmental pressure was wrong, and I regret that we were not more outspoken about it. And he said, I also think we made some choices that, with the benefit of hindsight and new information, we wouldn't make today. You know, this guy here just can't step up to the podium saying, you know what? Yeah, I am well aware of several teenagers that have taken their lives suicide-wise, posting it on the internet, saying they were going to do this, and we did nothing about it. You're going to, quote, I'll not let people think that people are smart enough to make up their own minds, their own decision as to whether or not they're going to drink a gallon of bleach. No, I'm not drinking a gallon of bleach. And anyone in their right mind will not drink a gallon of bleach. And yet they want to say, let me think. Oh, yeah. They want to say that Trump told everyone to drink gallons of bleach. Bull loney. It's just not there. But, you know, the White House had to come back and respond. And this is what I like. These guys are going back and forth, twisting everything. But the White House responded with this. Our position has been clear and consistent. We believe tech companies and other private actors should take into account the effects their actions have on American people while making independent choices about the information they present. And again, Zuckerberg at least came out and said, you know what? We were pressured. We had the squeeze on us. And you know from Twitter, Elon Musk ultimately bought it, you know from Twitter, you know that the people in Twitter were paid off by FBI agents. You know that the FBI has been, quote, radical, has been going in and telling them what to do. And again, the White House did this as well. Zuckerberg just said, hey, the whole little balloon of. He didn't give detailed names of. And that I don't like. But then again, why would he? But he kind of said, I'm not going to do it again, but he's going to continue to do it. And why is he going to do it? Because this is what the left does. And this is what left people like him with money does. Jeff Bezos included. These people are going to brainwash you. In fact, Jeff Bezos' Alexa account, you should try this at home. Ask Alexa, please tell me about President Trump. Alexa will respond similar to this, will respond with, I'm sorry, we don't engage in any political people's profiles. We just keep that stuff away from us. We don't involve ourselves in that. And the funny part about it is when you say, Alexa, tell us about Comrade Kamala Harris. Oh, she is just a great attorney. And she blah, 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 blah. And she did this and she did that. And she was just such a great woman. Folks, if you have Alexa, get rid of it. Get your fat asses off the couch and turn the light switch off and on. Turn the switch on the light. I've gotten a little irritated, and that's why you may hear me say stuff like that. But it's true. Alexa, can you do this? Can you do that? Alexa, give me the information. No. why don't you actually pick up a book and look for it? Really, it's kind of good to have an encyclopedia or a series of encyclopedias. Seriously, it's not a bad thing. But right now, we are so much. We are so convinced that we need our phones. We're so convinced that those phones are going to be our savior. I hear people on the phone when I call them up and I talk to them and I say, blah, 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 give them a question. They say, I'll give you a second. It's never going to be a second, folks. Please help these people independently think. Help these people have a little bit of compassion and tell them or ask them to say, hey, you know what? It's going to be a moment. This instant gratification is wrong. We don't need to have a phone rings when you're driving. You look over here, boom, you're back. You just drive right into another car in front of you. You go through a red light. I've seen it. I've heard it. And it's not a lie. So technology has given us and placed us into a world that we have become lazier and we have become dumber. It has dumbed us down even more. And again, I'm going to go back up because I want to go back up. This is the number one reason why across America. It is fake news. And I cannot stress upon you enough how fake it is. So all I can say is if you could possibly maybe look at these people, talk to them. I'm going to look at comments right now. Now I've got it up here. Hey, Julie, how are you doing? What's going on, Ruth? Nice to see you guys here. By the way, and yes, you're absolutely right. We are so reliant on the AI now, and it's going to get worse. Eventually, jobs will be manufacturing jobs will be replaced by robots, and you may need people to quote, operate them, but that's going to be about the extent of it. I'm going to go back to what I have been doing, which is, of course, getting on with what the message of today, and so. I decided to take a different route, but you know what? Here's a new hoax alert. They've been throwing Trump alerts left and right, but I can't make this stuff up, folks. I can't. You're looking at a woman, for instance. You're looking at, here you go. This is our next presidential candidate. Did Kamala really work at McDonald's? One person texted and said, let's do a FOIA act. FOIA, FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, and let's see if she can get a copy of her 1099s. Only she supposedly worked out of McDonald's down in the Bay Area. We don't know if she flipped burgers or if she dumped fries. But the bottom line is, as funny as she is as a person, it would not surprise me if, in fact, she was another clown, that she actually tried to take Ronald's job. But we're in a battle here, and this woman is a pretending politician. Not long ago, she was just yesterday or the day before, she was boarding an airplane. Okay, she's boarding an airplane and she has iPods in her ears and a cell phone in her hand, and she won't take any questions from anyone. And while she's walking up the steps with the ear pods in both ears, she has a phone in her hand as if she's on a call. So which is it? The iPods were working, plugged into the phone, or they weren't because iPods don't have the speaker. So she's a phony pretending woman. And we can't make this stuff up. Look at this next little piece. Unbelievable. Kamala Harris, right now, someone has gone in Philadelphia to the bus stops and has been putting these fake Kamala Eagle posters, pop-ups in all of the bus stops around Philly. Now, the worst part about it is it's not seen down there on the bottom, but the worst part about this is these are all saying on the bottom, the Eagles endorse Kamala. And the Eagles spokesperson has come forward and say, no, we don't. We don't endorse. No team is going to technically endorse a candidate because I cannot imagine, say, a staff complete of 250 people. That's football players, people that do the jerseys all day. I cannot believe that 250 people are going to say, yep, we're a Kamala supporter. I just don't believe that. These people have independent minds. So they're lying to the people on that. This is, believe it or not, I can't help it, but this is true. No one is safe with Kamala's open border. The Democratic Party is truly out of touch, but really, Kamala has been the czar for 3.5 years. She had the opportunity to close this border, continuing had Biden not shut down Title 42, I believe it was, and stop the building of the wall. I do believe that we could have stopped over 15 million illegal criminal aliens that have invaded our country. I listened to a wonderful speaker last week. All I can say is this. If you look at South Chicago, you've got the MS gang has taken over just within the past 5-6 days. If you go to Fox News, you will find out that Aurora, Colorado, has Venezuelan gangs that are in the projects, in the ghettos, in these homes of these people that are government subsidized living. Whatever you want to call it, I cover it all. I don't care about being politically correct. The bottom line is these people's doors being kicked in, their money's being stolen, their jewelry's being stolen, and no one's doing a damn thing about it. But there are about 100 Hells Angels, and I imagine they're going to start uniting even more on their way over to Aurora, Colorado to take care of business, since the governor of Colorado will not do his job. And since the mayor says, at least you say, our hands are tied, we got to do what the governor says. And he says, don't send any men down there. Don't send any, let me rephrase that. Don't send any forces down there. Well, you know what? We need forces. We need to stop these clowns. That same speaker and I that I listened to a couple days back, he'll be on my program next week, but it's going to be on Tuesday for an hour. I can't wait to tell you about it. The bottom line is this. They turned around. He said he never knew there was a Springfield, Ohio. Springfield, Ohio, folks. Springfield, Ohio had a population of, say, 30,000. Right now, the population is, let's say, 55,000. Now, how did that many people get there? Well, I'll tell you what, in all Haitians. And anyone that can move out of that city already has moved out of that city. And the Haitians have taken over that city, technically, and you can't recognize it. That's very, very, very sad. Why is this happening? It's because of the Biden-Harris administration, what they're doing. They are doing this to the American people. They are doing this purposefully for the vote. Now, we'll get to the vote in a moment. I've got another picture here I'm going to bring up. Come on. Everything's a little slow. I don't know what it is. Come on. Maybe we'll come on now. Come on. I'm not getting what I need. It's actually not coming on. This is unbelievable. I don't think they like the fact that I'm putting these pictures up from Fox. Let me see if I can go back to this one. Yep, that one came on. Let's go to that one. There you go. And Kamala, believe it or not, attacks Donald Trump. She attacks Donald Trump for attending the Arlington visit this past weekend. First off, they both had an invitation from the Gold Star families to attend. Neither Biden nor Kamala went. Kamala was actually about a 10-minute drive down the road, seriously, and she could have gone. Biden, for the past month, has been on the beach. So I'm going to leave this question to you. Who in the hell is running our country? But, seriously, Donald Trump was requested to go by the Gold Star families. He went. Everyone wants to say on all these, again, I'm going to go back up to this goofball channels. All these idiots want to say, Donald Trump, blah, 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 blah. He made this a political campaign piece. No, he didn't. He was asked to go there. He has more passion, more in his heart for the American people than any of these people that are in power today at this moment. So I wanted to talk about, get into Kamala a little bit, which I just did. I hope I gave you a little bit of fun on this. It's sad, but this is where our country is at. Now, let's look at her running mate, Walz, Vice President Walz, governor of, believe it or not, governor of New York. And they're not letting me put his picture up there. This is not right. Who is holding this back? There we go. They call him Sausage Lips for a good reason, I'm sure. But Sausage Lips governor, he actually allows people to drop their children off for gender surgeries. Yes, you heard that right. He also has allowed the illegal alien criminals who have invaded Minnesota. He has driver's license like there's no tomorrow. That's true, folks. Driver's license like there's no tomorrow. That means these people can now drive around wherever they want, and they can turn around and get into the voting booths. When are we going to put a stop to this? Well, I don't know. Where does it stop? Well, I don't know. It stops in a boys' room, I think. Here we go. Tampon Tim has spent millions of dollars putting tampons into the boys' schools. And finally, talking about Tampon Tim, he talks about, oh, you know, we're not going to take this anymore. We got freedoms, and you're not going to suppress it, Trump and Vance. Well, the bottom line is, yeah, he is suppressing it. And he's suppressing it like this. I think you'll like this. Hello, you have reached the Department of Public Safety. Stay-at-home hotline. The information you leave is considered public information. Try to switch. At the tone, please leave the following information: your name, your callback number, how the stay-at-home order is being violated, and where the stay-at-home order was violated. Thank you. Believe it or not, he is having neighbors snitching on neighbors if they have more than, say, 10 people in their home during COVID. Or they're gathering outside, having a barbecue, or they don't have masks on. And this man here is supposed to be, quote, he is supposed to be the vice president, a leader. He has not taken any questions. And talking about questions, he actually was in the military for 24 years. This guy's a liar. Just like Kamala, straight out liars. And Biden, I think they actually make their craft of being pathological liars. That's what they have in common with the media across the board. They are pathological liars. And he decided he was going through a special class, get a certain rank. He didn't get to class. When he found he was going to be taken over to Iraq, he chickened out. His men went over. And he ended up becoming a politician. And then he lies about his military career. We know it. He never held a gun in war. He wants to get rid of our guns. I'll tell you what, there's a reason why we have the Second Amendment. And it's not for your right just to have a gun. It's to protect ourselves from foreign and domestic terrorists. But the number one reason is the militia of the government against the government, if need be. We have to protect ourselves. And folks, we're coming very, very, very close to very, very, very bad times. So with this bozo, he wanted to also tout that he was, quote, he wanted to tell, there we go, Julie, our freedoms have been diminishing for decades. Yes, they have been. And the government, and you're correct, is so desperate to have their own way, they will practically do anything to win, even right down to trying to assassinate Donald Trump from within. And yes, John, hey, Dean, what's going on? Love you, brother. It's been a minute since I've seen you. Yeah, I guess my internet is going in and out. Thank you a lot, Ruth. I mean, it's horrible. And you know, Julie also wrote, it's a plan of red versus blue, and they all come from the same cabal and serve the same God. And boy, is she actually telling the truth on that. You're hitting it out of the ballpark. The God that they worship is a God of money, the God of power, and the God of control over your life. And it has been a minute. Yes, we are on YouTube. Yes, Steve, we are on YouTube. So I'm going to get back to what I have been doing. I had a touch base with Dino. Nice to see you again. But this is really Kamala versus Kamala, because right now we do not know where she stands. She has been saying for years she stands on this, that, and the other thing, and now she's flip-flopping like there's no tomorrow. And wait till you see how she's doing it. But let's look at where this woman came from. No, she didn't come from Wee Willie Brown. Okay, I'm just kidding. She didn't come from Wee Willie Brown. Close. She helped Wee Willie Brown come together. You know, they are again. But this is her roots right here. Her father, Kamala Harris, needs to admit her father was a Marxist professor. He was a radical economist. visiting economics visitor Donald on January 8th on a student request for a formal commitment by the department to establishing a field in practical political economics. His pending departure likely no new Marxist will be hired from the basis for some of the students' complaints. This man has caused turmoil, and really, this is where we're at right now. Again, going all the way back to the beginning of the program, and about she signed the Inflation Reduction Act, and look at where we are at. This is horrible. It doesn't get much worse than this. So, what is she doing? She's not answering, and she hasn't answered any questions at all. And Kamala has been touted as this great prosecutor. Her strength is also her Achilles heel, folks. Think about it. Prosecutors ask questions. They do not answer them. So when you have technically a prosecutor's mind, you almost walk on water. And believe it or not, I have a high school sweetheart. I love her to death still. Not that way, of course, but yeah, that way. Yeah. Anyway, just the same. She always said Vinzent would have been a good prosecuting attorney. It's because I wanted to nail people to the cross if they deserved it. I was not going to be a passive prosecuting attorney. If I could get the death sentence for a serial rapist, DNA behind it, I'd be all over that right now in a heartbeat. If I could do certain things, I would be all over it. And that's probably like the top one right now. If I had it in my power, I would arrest everyone in the White House administration, put them on trial. Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, the whole mess of them, DOJ, as well as Christopher Wray, Merrick Garland, Christopher Wray of the FBI, and Mayorkas. They would all be at the gallows for a public display of why we cannot allow people like you in office that are abusing the American tax dollars and the American tax people, and really the poor people. They're giving them false hopes of free money, of free education, free medical, free housing, free food. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not only the poor people. They're actually giving that to the migrants with a $25,000, I guess, stipend of some type so that they could go buy a brand new house. Folks, we have lost the country right now. Just under this administration, we can't do 4 years at all. So let's look at this whole thing. Harris insists her values have not changed. And you know what? We know they haven't changed. The border is still a wreck. And she says she's going to change it. I showed you that, by the way. I showed you that earlier. But here you go. Just in the past, since August 6th, Biden and Walz has done one interview on CNN, a total of 16 minutes. And she actually spoke, believe it or not, I believe it's a total of 7 to 9 minutes. How crazy is that? And why did she have to have that lump of flesh next to her? Sausage lips himself, Walz, because she needed that security blanket, just like Lion Pigpen needs when he's walking around carrying that blanket. You know, it's a security blanket. But Donald Trump, 34 interviews. These men are talking to the American public. Let that marinate for one more minute. One interview, 34 interviews since August the 1st. Who's reaching out to the American public and why? Why are they reaching out? Well, I'll tell you why the Republicans are reaching out. They want to save this country. I'm not saying the Republicans, by the way, are all good. Oh, I hope Donald Trump will just weed out McConnell, weed out the ones that don't belong in there. And there are quite a few. Mitt Romney. I don't know if Mitt's even in there anymore. But we need to get rid of the bad actors of the Republican Party, the backstabbers, let's say. But let's look at how Harris has major flip-flops. She says fracking 5 years ago, no more fracking. Now she says fracking. Medicare for all. Wants to get rid of the privatized insurance that you have been paying for that you want. And she wants to enforce immigration law. She just keeps moving them into the country. Now, let's look at the next one. If it will flip, come on. Here we go. Here we go. She wants to build the border wall. Holy Toledo. She wants to put an electric vehicle mandate, and yet by 2040, she has actually said she wants all vehicles to be electric and not one fossil fuel or petrol-filled gas tank. None. Defunding the police. She wants to defund the police, but defunding the police. She actually set up a no bail, a bail for a GoFundMe page for criminals. One guy in particular, one guy was out 3 different times. The third time he finally killed someone. You can't make this up. So no, she's not looking at protecting our streets anymore at all. Semi-automatic rifles with buyback and no taxes on tips. Well, where did she get those to? You know, she wants to turn around and get all these semi-automatic rifles and buybacks and all that crap. What they're wanting to do is take away our protection. There are families in the Democratic cities that are being robbed on a daily basis, and if they had a gun, they could protect themselves from being raped, shot, murdered, killed, assaulted, whatever. But they're not allowed to have guns in New York City, unless, of course, unless you give Eric Adams and the state, blah, 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 so much money, then you can. But seriously speaking, you cannot protect your home in many Democratic-operated ran cities. And this is a fact. The buyback program, no, it's not going to work. In fact, man, folks, I say go get more guns. Yes, I just said that. You need to have guns. You need to protect yourself. So, I got to looking at some stuff that that Hannity put up in reference to Harris, and this is pretty good stuff. But she co-sponsored, believe it or not, Bernie Sanders' Medicaid for All Act, with the right to legal representation. I can't make this stuff up. You're reading it. And why do they have a right to legal representation when they're criminals coming here to begin with? She expresses support for the sanctuary cities. If it weren't for the sanctuary cities being where they are right now, and the wonderful governors that keep of the South of Texas, Abbott and DeSantis in Florida, sending them up to New York and Chicago, these sanctuary cities that are being imploded, Denver, Colorado, these people wanted this. Well, now they've got it. They need to deal with it. But she wants to support this stuff. Introducing legislation to block the implementation of the Trump travel restrictions. Come on. We need Trump travel. I don't understand why Trump wants to make sure people come into the country in the right way. She's addressing the radical biases and GYNOB practices, sponsoring a bill allowing DHS to place minor illegal immigrants, criminals, into the care of adult illegals. Are you kidding me? We can't have a program like that. It would cost us too much. She has touted an agreement at the COP28 to phase out fossil fuels. Again, she wants to make sure that we no longer have cars. After, technically, if she had her way, probably by 2028, we won't have any cars. She has sponsored a bill requiring the DOJ to award grants to replace cash bail systems. In other words, the cash bail are lowered, so we let the criminals have a chance to get out easier, or in some cases without. Again, sponsoring the bill to HHS to fund trading to address radical bias in the practice. And yet they really want, believe it or not, they want the abortion clinics. They are the ones, believe it or not, the loony lefts are the ones that have taken over 400,000 lives, they figure, of black babies in the communities through a decade of time, I believe it was. We can't allow this to continue. We just can't. She sponsored a bill to advance the Green New Deal. We need to be out of that Green New Deal. Sponsor a bill banning, again, DHS from using federal funds to build or expand on immigration detention facilities. You know what? We shouldn't have the facilities. We should give them a one-way ticket back. Go back where you belong. You can go back two ways. You can either go to the border, we basically help you through the gate, or you can just be carried out because these people are criminals. I don't care if they're 2 years old. I don't care if they're 80 years old. They came here illegally. This is not the way we do this in America. She said this. We need to probably think about starting from scratch when talking about ICE. No, ICE has been working beautifully. And she signed a letter saying Title 42 violated federal law. I don't understand where she's thinking or why she's thinking what she does. Folks, it's getting worse. I actually wrote this down from one of the programs, so I'm going to just read it to you. I didn't have actually, it wasn't even it wasn't where I could take a picture and show you like I have. So I listened to this person. She was reading this information. It was from a poll right before the DNC even began on August the 19th, I think it was. And they polled several thousand Democrats that were attending the DNC convention in Chicago. I can't remember. I remember them having an illegal, and the guy saying, "Hey, I want this guy to go in there." And they're like, "Well, does he have a driver's license?" No. Blah 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 blah. And it's like they want the illegals in our country, but they won't let an illegal in on the DNC party. Their little balloon glitter party. But this is what they did with the survey, and you're never going to believe this. The survey of the Democratic voters going into the DNC Joy Week was this. I'm not making these numbers up. I won't bet you. 71% didn't know she supported the reparations for slavery to atonements. I don't believe in reparations for slavery. I just don't believe it. But 71% didn't know that she actually wants to do that. Take our tax dollars to give it and distribute it through the Black communities all across the country. It will, well, you know as well as I do, bankrupt us. 86% didn't know that Kamala was giving death row inmates and wanted to give them the right to vote. Your rights are taken away. When you are on death row, you know what? Death row, you can't go there quick enough, in my book. I'm not saying everyone should be on death row. And I need a little latitude. There are people that I know that have been on death row that are innocent and or were innocent. I followed a case out of Texas, Mr. Davis, I believe it was, and he was executed. And sadly, that man was, in fact, innocent. But when you know you've got this person, the John Wayne Gacy's, the Ted Bundy's, when you know you've got these sick puppies, they need to be put down. Simple as that. That's what we do with a rabid dog. We put them down. And I mean, I can go on the list of those people. 83% did not know that she co-sponsored the radical New Green Deal. 86% did not know that she signed that. This is not going to help our world. First off, Mother Nature is what it is, Mother Nature. And you should be doing your due diligence of not, for instance, polluting and maybe safely getting rid of your hazardous oils and so on and so forth. 81% did not know that she favors eliminating, 81%, that she favors eliminating all privatized health insurance. And 71% didn't realize that she favors defunding the police. 78% did not know she set up the funds to bail out protesters during the 2020 riots, the peaceful, so-called peaceful protests. These are real numbers. 78% of them going in there did not even know that she's on the funding page. The borders are an issue right now. It really is. It truly is happening. The borders, they say, are the numbers. I say it's number one. I say it's number one. Because with the border comes something worse yet. But 72% did not know that she was the border czar and that she had never once been to any of the conflict areas. In other words, the areas of saturation. There was a time there were like 10, 15,000 Haitians that were under a bridge, I believe. I can't remember what city it was. And they all disappeared. They were all flown out and shipped again to Springfield, Ohio. Population went up. Unbelievable. We had said she 7% did not know that she supports eliminating, not restructuring, not altering, not changing. She eliminate ICE once again. And the 77% did not know that about her. 74% did not know that she favors not making it a crime to invade the United States of America illegally, in short. Complete open border policy. Kamala is not doing any interviews, like I said. She's not going to, and she's going to do a debate. I can't wait to see how this happens. But really, it goes back down to the media not asking or reporting on Kamala at all. I'm going to tell you, folks, we are in a very, very bad way. I'm going to be wrapping this up. I didn't want to take up too much more time. I'm going to be wrapping this up real simple. I've been very active within the schools. I'm going to say this. I've been going after teachers left and right. I can't blame teachers. In other words, I'm not lumping them all into one basket. But we know the ones that are dirty. We know the ones that are groomers. We know the ones that are going to be, and most likely are, and I'm going to say it, most likely pedophiles of sorts, DEI, CRT, transgender, pronoun changing. Come on, folks. That's not an education. That is mental insanity. These kinds of teachers need to be fired when you know what their agenda is, because it isn't teaching reading, writing, and arithmetic. But check this out. Come on. I'm trying to get. I've had really bad interruption here. I can't believe this. And I do want these pictures. I just want about 5 or 6 more of these. That's it. Come on. Let's see if this won't pop up. None of them. Okay, here we go. Going back down here. Schools are scrambling to recruit and retain teachers. Believe it or not, 55,000 nationwide teachers we are short right now. 55,000 teachers short nationwide. And out of 270,000 teachers that are currently working, 60% of them are not qualified fully. Here we go again. 67% of 270,000 working teachers. Wow, they are hitting me hard, aren't they? I'm liking it, though. And, you know, it's sad because they don't like the truth. That's why they try to quote around with me. Anyway, this woman here was talking about 67% of the schools to have multiple teaching vacancies very soon. Check out this. Check this out. You're never going to believe it. 77% of these teachers talking about their feelings about their job, saying their job is frequently stressful. 58% say it's overwhelming. 70% say their school is understaffed. And 52% say they would not advise a young person starting out today to become a teacher. That is very, very sad. If any of you have been watching me for the time that you have, one of my very first podcasts, I spoke about teachers. I spoke about my education. I was so proud. And I always said that to me when I was growing up until lately. In my mind, the teachers were everything. I remember almost every single one of my teachers' name. I challenge you to write down your teachers' names and the grades they taught. I really do. I challenge you to do that. You'll be amazed at how much of an influence they were on you. But, you know, it's not only teaching. Right now, out of the classroom, more schools are racing to ban cell phones in schools. Seriously, right now we've got, come on, pop one up there. There we go. We've got, what is it? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 12, 13 schools right now that are looking to ban cell phones. Do I think they should ban cell phones? Yes and no. I'm beginning to have another one of those moments where I don't know. After another shooting today, do we need, I think, school resource officers that are holding to the superintendent and protecting the teachers that are groomers? No, we don't need more of that. Johnny, we don't need you in that hall there. Oh no, what is young? You don't know. You guys are not going to do your job. You're not going to investigate. You're not going to investigate assaults properly on parents. You're not going to investigate, quote, teachers like this, the librarian at the Cameron School District Library, public school library. You're not going to hold her accountable. The Missouri Section 3.44 or 573.550 will give you a 1 year in jail, a $2,000 fine, and personally, as a participation award, I think that lady there, she should definitely be a registered sex offender. I know on that list. That's the way I feel it. But we're not doing it. They're not going to fight it. But we go back to the cell phone distraction. It is a major problem for the students. The kids are not paying attention to the teachers. And chances are, if I'm not mistaken, I'm going to say it like this. Everyone kind of left, I think, and that's okay. But seriously speaking, we've got to take control of our schools. And it's not just the teacher's fault. Oh, you're about ready to hear me drop a big bomb. Hey, parents, all of you, think about this. Where are you at Friday nights in the fall? Oh, you're drinking some beer, tailgating, going into the game, getting stoned probably, and you're watching football games of your kids. That's where the problem is. You don't have that balance. Yes, it's good to support your kids at football games, but when you don't end up showing up at any school board meeting and you don't realize what they are doing to you, and believe me, Cameron School District, families, parents, get your butts into these school board meetings. Voice your opinion. Let them know you're tired of fentanyl that's being sold in the school, that you're tired of pornography that's in the school, that you're tired of privatized police force that are protecting the teachers and not doing their jobs of protecting the children and the parents that are getting assaulted and insulted left and right. You look at the student handbook, for instance, folks. Seriously, I'm going to ask you, everyone across the country, you get a student handbook. My son, hypothetically, let's say I'm 10th grade and he's a knucklehead, and you have a son well on his way to college, maybe even get a scholarship in sports, but on his way to college because he gets good grades. Well, guess what the school district here will do? If my boy influences your boy to come vandalize a bathroom, well, my kid gets a 2-week suspension. Ain't no sweat off his balls. He's been there before. Yup, he has been there. But guess what they do to your kid? They take the earned credits of a grade. They remove it. It can get more difficult for your son who made a blundering mistake hanging out with my moron kid and made a mistake, but the punishment does not equal that crime. That child still should be able to go on to college. But the college kid can always turn around and get some turpentine in there and start scrubbing the wall. And with my moron kid, scrub the walls, get them clean again, and take the paint off that you abused. That's the whole thing. People are afraid to say this stuff. But it's failed parenting. I can tell you right now, without even knowing this child in the situation, somewhere along the line, some parent wasn't paying attention. They weren't really zoned in on their kid possibly having a mental problem. They weren't zoned in on what this kid was going through. And we won't know yet on this particular case. I can tell you right now, parents, you need to step up. You need to step up not only in the good times of a football game, feel good time. You need to step up and start looking at their academia. You have to start looking at what they're getting for an education. You've got to go to the ballot box. Remember, folks, there's four boxes that we have as civilized citizens of America. The first is my podcast, for instance, the soapbox. And I love having people come on and educate and teach me. Much rather have that than have me just ranting, as always, about the same old thing. But the first one is a soapbox. The second one is the jury box. That's where we get to make sure that criminals are held accountable and they're seen through a transparency that they have to do time for their crime. The third box is the election box, the ballot box, the voting box. It's where you go in, and this is the most crucial. I don't care what anyone says. You've been hearing it for a couple of years, but I'm here to tell you, 4 more years of this, and we are done. Well, she gets elected, we're done. The Democratic machine has successfully put us under, and that's a fact. Everything we worked for, everything we lived for, everything we believed in, we're going to wake up and it's going to be gone. But lastly, it's the ammo box. Now, I think you guys know what ammo is. I'm going to tell you what it is. Unlike these idiots that you see up here, and I mean this, unlike you see right here, this is fake news. This here is fake news. But the ammo box that I'm talking about, it's alternative mass media outlet, and that's a CDN. We have other shows right now. People are winding down on their personal lives, winding down in their summers. All I can say is, folks, hang in there. Don't give up hope. Don't give up faith. Believe. It can, in fact, happen. I was asked this one piece, by the way. Wow, had a lot of comments. I'm sorry I haven't been keeping up. Yep. Just me. Oh, Captain. I know. Never mind. Yeah. If you're a felon, you have no rights. You don't have to be on death row. I'm going to actually go back up here and actually get some of this on here. I owe it to everyone to get some of these comments up here. I thought I was going to have some help here with The Godfather. That's okay. If half of these, here we go. If half of these American socialists lived in the communist nation, how much would it affect them all? They wouldn't want to stay there long, I guarantee it. They wouldn't want to stay there long. I just like it when her accent changes depending on where she is and the White House denies it. That's right. I forgot about that. The Southern drawl, the fake Southern drawl. It's unbelievable. She couldn't change Joe's diapers. Crystal here, she gets to say, if they take away paper money, just think. They will control our money electronically with AI. If we don't comply, our money will vanish and they will cut us off. Just mentioned in the book of Revelations. All right, she drags Waltz around like Waltz drags his kid around. Yeah, in fact, I forgot to also mention Waltz. Took 30 trips to China. I can't make this stuff up. Thank you. Took 30 trips to China on his honeymoon. He actually took high school students with him. I wonder what his wife was feeling about that one. But they visited Tiananmen Square, the anniversary of. And, that's pretty sick, no matter what way you cut it. That's just sick. I mean, this guy, Waltz, is a communist. She is a Marxist. They are made for one another. Electric vehicles are worse for the environment. Again, can be controlled by the government. You're absolutely correct, Crystal. And, the thing is, a lot of people don't know this. Getting and extracting the minerals makes it so. What happens is you get the material into your bloodstream and you end up dying. Women, men, children are dying pulling these out of the mines of South Africa. I wish I was watching all of these. I wish I did get to see all of these. Just saying, and then when they do corrode in the ground, they get into the water system here in America. We got issues, folks. We've got huge issues. She's just saying this to get elected. Once she gets into office, she'll be the same old Democrat lunatic. Yep. And here, as always, please join my Facebook page under The Bus. Julie, I'm just trying to get these at all on there. Really didn't realize I was getting so many comments. I would have, of course, tried to keep up with it. The government wants to control and own everything. These are real people speaking here, folks. And of course, Crystal comes back with exactly. And she says it's a dictatorship. And that is exactly what we're under right now. And the same people, believe it or not, the same people who want Medicare for all just effed up the gas can. They literally made it worse and it costs more. I had to read it because it wasn't going. And here you go. I can't get some of these on here still. I talked about ballot 3 and number 3. No, I haven't. But ballot number 3, you need to look at that and vote no. You have to vote no. It's an abortion bill. You got to vote no. Fossil fuels are used to, I'm going to have to read these. There we go. Fossil fuels are used to power the charging station and electricity to charge a car. Doesn't make sense. And the government are the ones that are bringing the illegal immigrants in. My next week's guest on Tuesday is going to tell you some stories. It's going to blow your mind. J.J. Carroll. He's an incredible man. He really is. And if you're a felon, again, you have no rights, and you don't have to have them on death row. You really shouldn't. Shouldn't have any rights at all. And some people, believe it or not, on death row have been there for decades. And not only that, they're also altering people's sexes on it. Folks, this is unbelievable. Unbelievable. We have got to take, and I mean this. Well, I don't know who you are, Angela David. Angela David, thank you for visiting us. What's up? Well, you got to go back about an hour, check it out. In about an hour and 10 minutes, you'll know what's up. Share, like, and save, folks. Thank you very much for being here. I am so sorry that I did not, and I mean that, I did not get to a lot of these comments sooner as I was going along. Again, don't fear. The Godfather was here, but then he disappeared. Oh well, it happens. We have a lot of things going on, and we can't be here for all the time. It just can't happen. It just can't happen. Folks, thank you for joining me. Next week it's going to be a spectacular program. Like I said, I need this therapy, and I did forget one thing. I'm going to close with up. And so last week you wrote a piece, and I really will again because when you read it, had a discussion with us. So this is just for mine. She wanted to be left anonymous. But it's a piece that I kind of co-wrote, I guess you'd say, with an individual because he wrote the massive part of it, and I just really put a lot of other thoughts into it, which they needed to be put in there, in my opinion. Perception, perspective, politically correct, in whose eyes? The way people view you. Sometimes I think about the different characters I play in everyone's story. I am a terrible person in some people's narratives and a godsend in others. None of it has anything to do with the person I truly am. The lens that others view you colored, warped, twisted by their upbringing, discipline, principles, common sense, and wisdom, or lack thereof, beliefs, religion, the higher power, and the individual experience social environments. Some people see bright personality you're sharing, while others see it as annoying and sarcastic. Some think you are weak, emotional, and vulnerable. Many others feel safe to be themselves around you, protected and valued. Some people think you are rude, selfish. Others, however, respect the way you stand up for yourself, defend yourself, and those around you who are incapable of doing so. Some people I know you look. None of it has to do with who you truly are as a person. What you have to understand is that you have no authority over how other people view you. So never try to control the way others see you. Because the only thing that truly matters when the dust settles down and at the end of the day is what you genuinely see in yourself. To know oneself is to know the most important person, you. And before you can love another, you have to love yourself. No one is a self-made. No one is self-made. It took many to make us. Teachers, I love you all my teachers, I love you fans. Where we're at today, I'm not too lucky with teachers. Very few. And I had to tag this at the end with, it takes a village of idiots to raise a moron. And I know. I ultimately did become a good moron and joined the team of the idiots. And hopefully I'm teaching. So folks, don't take everything I say to heart. And don't think I'm saying it to just be a pissant or a complainer. Truth of the matter is, we are in bad spots. Right now in America, we are in a hell of a bad spot. And only you can do something about it. Only you can talk to your local representatives, even though, say, Dean Van Schoik or Rusty Black, my district state representative, Dean Van Schoik, and then I look at Rusty Black, senator in this area or whatever, state senate. Not one of these men since January, I'm sorry, I'll say it like this, since February. Not one of these men since February 23. And here we are, a year and a half later, has come to the table to talk to the parents or even the concerned parents about the educational system that's going on and what's happening in our school here in Canada. Our parental rights and children's rights are being taken away. It's horrendous. All I can say is good luck with that. Good luck with really being a pain in someone's ass, in someone's side, a thorn in the neck. I don't care what you want to call yourselves. But the bottom line is get involved. If you're going to go to football games, come on. Go to one school board meeting. It doesn't last near as long as a football game. It's not near as exciting. But your eyes are going to open up. And they will open up. And you will see what the devil's going on. And I assure you, as I'm sitting here on the screen right now, you will not be happy. And you will want to really make a change. From me to you, thank you very much. God bless you. I'm going to let it go. Next week, Tuesday, 5 to 6, special guest. I will get, by the way, I will be getting a lot of advertisement out on that. I think it's very important that this gentleman gets heard. Unbelievable speaker, unbelievable situation. Thank you for joining me and get this message out. Peace.